Hello everyone, and welcome to a very brief discussion of how to play Magic the Gathering. It's a trading card game, one of the oldest, if not the oldest, trading card game, and it's still very strong today. It was developed in 1993. I don't have much time, so I'll just go ahead and start. The way you play Magic is you have a deck of at least 60 cards, usually it's 60. You start with 20 life, and you draw 7 cards at the beginning of the game. The object of the game is to make your opponent go down to 0 life, where you stay above 0 life. The way that you do this is you primarily cast creatures that then can attack your opponent and make their life total go down to 0. That's the primary way of being able to do it, and I will show you how you do that today. To begin with, one of the things that you'll need to be able to cast these creatures that will be able to defeat your opponent is something called a land. This is a swamp. There is 5 basic land types. There's swamp, plains, island, mountain, and forest. This would tap for a black mana, and what it does is a black mana can pay for a black spell. All you have to do to tap it is you just turn it horizontally instead of vertically. Every single turn you're allowed to play one of these if you have it in your hand. Some cards allow you to play more than that, but just depending on what you actually have. So I will show you one of the creatures now, and I'll show you exactly how it would work. Alright, so right here we have a hill giant, as you can see by the name right there, this hill giant, and then if you look over at the top right corner, you see what is called a mana cost. What this is there's a 3 with a gray circle around it, and then there's a 1 red, just 1 red mana symbol. What that means is you can pay 3 of any color mana plus at least 1 red, so you can play a black, a white, and 2 red, 4 red, but there at least has to be 1 red, it can't be 4 black to be able to cast this card. If you go right here, you see that it says creature giant on it, so it's just telling you what kind of creature type it is. And then in the bottom right-hand corner, you see 2 numbers separated by a slash. The first number is the power, which is how much damage this creature can deal to a player or another creature. And the one over on the other side is called the toughness, which is how much damage that the creature can take before it dies. The creature will be able to take that much damage every single turn. The only way that it dies if it ever actually hits that much. You deal 2 damage one turn, 1 damage another turn, it won't destroy it. It has to deal all 3 in the same turn, otherwise it stays alive. If you look at this card, we have a Runeclaw Bear, which is just another creature. The mana cost is 1 and a green, so you could pay a black and a green, red and a green, green and a green. It just has to be at least 1 green and 1 other color. Then if you look down at the power and toughness, this one's just a 2/2. So it's smaller, but it also costs less mana, meaning that if you had 2 of these in your hand, then you could actually cast 2 of them for 4 mana as opposed to the 1/3/3 that you cast for 4 mana. So the way that you deal damage to your opponent is when the creatures can attack and hit your opponent directly. I'll show you down here. Let's just go over a combat scenario. Say you had a hill giant and a Runeclaw Bear, and your opponent had a Runeclaw Bear. What you can do is that you tap both these, which means you're attacking with them. When you attack with all of your guys at once. You can't attack with just the hill giant or just the Runeclaw Bear and then attack with the other one. You attack with them both at the same time. And now right here, a few things can happen. Because this is untapped or not turned horizontally, it can block these. So what happens is there's three different scenarios that can happen here. Either both of these don't get blocked and your opponent takes 5, so they lose 5 life, but they don't lose their Runeclaw Bear. They get to keep it around. They can either block a Runeclaw Bear. If they do that, damage is dealt all at the exact same time. So both the Runeclaw Bears will deal 2 damage to each other, which will kill them both since they both only have 2 toughness. Say if they were 2 3s instead, and they blocked each other, neither one would die because it takes 3 to kill them. But then the hill giant gets to hit straight through for 3. So your opponent would lose 3 life, and the 2 Runeclaw Bears would both die. If they blocked the Runeclaw Bear, or the hill giant is the third option, then they would only take 2 damage off the Runeclaw Bear. However, the hill giant would kill the Runeclaw Bear, and the Runeclaw Bear would not be able to kill the hill giant. So it would stay alive. So in that scenario, this would be gone, and then these 2 would be around. So next turn, you could attack with them again, which would essentially, if you were to have blocked here, you're taking 3 this turn and possibly 3 the next turn. But if you block here instead, then this guy dies, you take 2 that turn, and then the next turn you're taking 5, so you're already taking more damage, and you didn't get to kill one of their guys. So it's more advantageous to be able to block something that you can actually kill. Outside of just creatures, there are other things that you can do to interact with creatures, your opponent, etc. The first one of these is called sorcery. What the sorcery is this one's called Natural Spring. This one costs 3 green, which means that you need like black, green. You have to have at least 2 green and then 3 of anything. Then you look right here and it says there's a sorcery. What sorceries do is they come out, they use their ability, and then they instantly go to the graveyard. That's all they do. So you get the effect, which this effect is target player gains 8 life, usually you'd be using that on yourself, obviously. So you gain 8 life, and then it goes away. Instead of staying out, you don't get to gain life every single turn. The second one is called an instant. What an instant does, this one's called Doomblade. This costs 1 and a black, and it's an instant. What an instant does, you can cast it any time that you could basically do anything. You can do it on your opponent's turn, you can do it on your turn. What this one does is it destroys target non-black creature. So it's very basic. It cannot destroy a creature that is both white and black or green and black. It has to be no black whatsoever in the mana cost. Just because it's green and black does not mean it's immune from this. And then there's a third type, which this one is called Enchantment. This is called Furor of the Bidden. It just costs 1 red, just the 1. It's an enchantment and it's an aura. This one enchants creatures. Some just they just sit out on the field. Some don't enchant creatures. Some enchant players, but most of them actually sit out on the field. What you can do is say you had, let's go back to our combat here. Say you had a Runeclaw Bear, and they have a Hill Giant, and then you equip your Furor of the Bidden by paying 1 red mana, so you tap a mountain, because you need it to be able to do that. So you put it under it. Now, what this does is an enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and attacks each turn available. So it's both a good and a bad thing. This Runeclaw Bear now becomes a 4/4, so when it attacks, either they have to block and their guy dies and you don't get anything, or they don't get anything out of it, or they don't and they take 4 damage, which is a lot when you're starting out with 20. But the downside is that it has to attack every turn. You might be saying, well, 4/4, if that thing's a 3/3, you're just going to be able to attack every turn and it's going to be fine. But say they had a Runeclaw Bear and a Hill Giant on their side. If you attack with your Runeclaw Bear, they can actually block with both of their guys, which combines their power and toughness essentially for the attack, or just their power for the attack. So there's 5 power going on them. So this is 4, this is a 4/4, and this is 5 power. So this will kill this, but since damage is dealt at the same time, 4 damage will be dealt to these guys. So you could put 3 on this, 1 on this, or 2 on this, and 2 on this. If you put 2 on this, 2 on this, it will only kill this, and if you put 3 on this, 2 on this, it will only, or 3 on this and 2 on this, then it'll, or 1 on this, then it'll only kill this. So because they double block, they're essentially trading their Hill Giant for your Runeclaw Bear. Even though you powered your guy up, they can still just battle with the Hill Giant and the Runeclaw Bear, and only the Hill Giant dies. So basically, that's how Magic the Gathering works, in a nutshell anyway. You basically just play monsters every single turn that you can. Try to outdo your opponent by the spells they cast. You try to cast better ones than they do. And you try to put them in a position in where they can't come out of it. There is a rule set in place where you draw your first 7, and whoever starts first doesn't draw their card, but thereafter, every time it's your turn, you get to untap everything you have, so you can use it all again the next turn, and you get to draw a card just as long as it's not the very first turn. And if you don't like your hand originally, you're allowed to do something what's called a mulligan, where you can take your entire hand, put it back into your deck, and draw 1 less. So you start with 7, you go down to 6, you don't like that 6, you go down to 5. You do it too much, you're eventually just not going to be able to win, because if your opponent stays at 7 and then you go down to 2, they're just going to have way too many cards and they're just going to overpower you no matter what you draw. So yeah, that's about the basic overview of Magic the Gathering. I hope that I have informed you well, and hope that you might go try the game for yourself. If you'd like to look up more of the comprehensive rules, they're available at www.wizards.com. Thank you.